Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for our virtual sponsored walk for Rainbows for Children in the year 2020. And we especially appreciate it because so many of you have had real difficulties in participating due to the COVID-19 situation.
Hello, everybody. We have planned an interesting evening for you. We have the conclusion of our online auction, an update on activities at the Nicholas Robinson School. We have messages from 3 pupils who have gone on from the school to study overseas. George Potts is going to tell us about his trek to the South Pole and visit to Michaeli. And those of you who bought raffle tickets will be glad to know that our raffle prize draw is coming up in about half an hour. We are also going to have a question and answer session at the end of the meeting. So if you would like to ask any questions, please write a message in the live chat function at the bottom of the screen. Francesco will now explain the conclusion of our online auction that we have been running all week.
Thank you, Max and Catherine, and good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces, but also new people joining our online event this year. Online auction. Most of you have already received an email from Catherine and Max about the online auction, and some of you have already made a bid. So we have 3 fantastic prizes today. We are gonna run the online auction throughout the entire event and announce the winner at the end. So this is your last chance to write in the little chat your bid for the prizes I'm gonna show in a second. You can write the name of the prize and the bid that you wish to donate to Rainbows for Children. Be generous because those prizes are really, really nice and they've been generously donated by either private people or the organizations. I will keep track of all the bids and announce the winners at the end. Now, let me just show you what we are talking about. Prize number 1. I hope you can see in full mode, in full screen mode. We have a luxury afternoon tea with a glass of champagne for 2 people at the Barolac in Zurich. The original price for these, based on the bidding that we received so far, is 366 Swiss francs. From 367 Swiss francs onwards, this fabulous prize can be yours. Second prize, we have a nice handmade teddy bear. The name of the teddy bear is Blakey. It's 35 centimeters tall, completely handmade from short honeycomb color mohair, glass eyes, and rotated points. The bidding price that we received so far for the teddy bear, our friend Blakey, is 150 Swiss francs. So it can be yours from 151 onwards. Last but not least, our star prize that we have now since a couple of years, Panorama Hotel, as you might be familiar with, has been sponsoring generously Rainbows for Children for the last few years. This year we have again another fabulous wellness weekend in the Asian Juran suit, as you can see from the picture. The original bidding price is 200 Swiss francs, but I can guarantee you that the value of this price is very well above 200 Swiss francs, okay? It's an excellent price. It's a full weekend from morning of the Saturday until the end of the Sunday at the Panorama Hotel, Spa Hotel. Just to remind you, please post your bids in the chat. You can either address them to my name only or to everybody. Don't forget to put the name of the prize that you want to bid for. I will keep track of them, and from time to time we will post the updated prices so you can continue bidding if you wish, and then we will announce the winners in the end. And with this, I give the ball back to Max and Catherine.
Welcome to the Rainbows for Children update for the summer of 2020. The year started as normal at the Nicholas Robinson School in Ethiopia. And then the COVID-19 pandemic struck, just 3 months later. The school director had been following the growing crisis in China and Europe and was well prepared when the Ethiopian government ordered all schools to be closed. Given just 1 day's notice by the authorities, he called together his school staff and they put their plans into action. All of our students left school that day with homework to last for a couple of weeks. Since that time, the school has remained closed for lessons, but the parents regularly collect their children's schoolwork from our teachers, and after their exercises are complete, they return them to the school to be marked. Whilst at the school, they also collect hand sanitizer and bleach, made in our science laboratories for use in their family homes. Thanks to a donor who supports technical education, our IT training facility had already been fully equipped and had run some pilot sessions. We took advantage of the school closure to help our teachers upgrade their IT skills, and at the same time we're developing new curricula for older students. In these times of economic hardship, it's vitally important to be self-sufficient and adapt to the new situation. At the Nicholas Training College, we had to close our food preparation course during the COVID-19 epidemic, but we are now repurposing one of our workshops and developing alternative training programs in agriculture and reforestation. Ethiopia has set itself the target of being carbon neutral by the year 2025, despite rapid industrial growth. And the Tigray region is showing great leadership with several very successful reforestation programs.
Sarah Tawalde Bahan is an expert at restoring degraded land. This is her tree nursery at Mekelle University in northern Ethiopia.
She now works with our school, helping to teach young people how to plant vegetables, bamboo and trees. This is a great initiative, with the vegetables providing food today and the trees providing clean air and building materials tomorrow. Bamboo is native to Ethiopia and is the world's fastest carbon capture plant species. We have created places initially for 10 trainees in this re-greening programme, and we plan to develop this project further. The next step is to provide tens of thousands of saplings which will contribute to Ethiopia's extensive re-greening programme. Adding to the massive challenges of the COVID-19 virus, locusts once again threaten East Africa. Back in 2019, swarms of locusts caused crop devastation in many parts of Ethiopia, including the Tigray region. The Nicholas School is now helping in the battle against this plague. Mr. Teklab, Head of Science, is leading a team working on a natural pesticide to kill the locusts. This has been field tested and is now being distributed. We expect all schools in Ethiopia, including the Nicholas Robinson School, to reopen shortly, but with many extra precautions for the children and staff. It's not surprising that many families have suffered enormous financial hardship in 2020, but they know that their future is in the hands of their children and that a good education is crucially important. Some of those children hope to join the school kindergarten when that happens, but cannot do so until they have sponsorship. We thank our 350 individual sponsors who already support 540 students at school and at university. You are making a huge difference to their lives. If you are willing to sponsor a student or could recommend our programme to friends and family, then please contact us. Thanks for watching.
We'd now like to introduce our guest speaker for the evening. George Potts is an award-winning entrepreneur and investment director. And at Christmas 2018, he trekked the last degree to the South Pole to raise funds for purchasing computers at the Nicholas Robinson School. In November 2019, we were lucky to welcome George and his wife Lauren, who's a dentist, to visit the school. George is now a trustee of Rainbows for Children in the UK. And George is going to tell us a little more now about both his experiences.
I'll just try sharing my screen. Well, thank you, Max, for the kind introduction. I met Max in my day job on business, and for the second half of the meeting, we ended up just talking about Africa. I had a personal view that any investment in education or electrification had the most positive ripple effects in the world. And so when he talked to the Nicholas Robinson School, Catherine Max's school, for me, there wasn't another charitable cause that came close. So what did I do about that? Well, I've always wanted to get to Antarctica, and I discovered that you could actually ski from 89 degrees to 90 degrees south, the South Pole. So I set about training. I did flights of stairs in my apartment block in a restricted breathing mask, carrying a rucksack full of rocks. I looked and sounded a bit like Bane from Batman, and I was dripping with sweat every evening after work, doing a couple of flights in our apartment block. I also managed a couple of nights in the Alps to acclimatize myself to sub-zero camping. And as I departed for Antarctica, I received a donation actually from Adina Shackleton, who is the great-granddaughter of Ernest Shackleton. And it certainly felt at that point like everything was aligning. It certainly wasn't, and I was weather delayed for 5 days in Punta Arenas. That unhelpfully gave me the time to contemplate that I really had very limited expedition experience. And on the application, it was quite apparent that you needed a lot. And only 3 groups of 5 people do this trek every year. Now, the first guy I meet, a chap called Koban, well, here he is on a billboard being the first Malaysian to climb the 7 summits. The Malaysian press secretary was also flying out to meet him on his return from the South Pole. I was then even less inspired to hear that no one had made it to the South Pole from the first group that had departed, but more on that later. But notwithstanding that, Koban and I, we got moving. And so how'd you get there? Well, I flew from Heathrow to Santiago to Punta Arenas on Cape Horn. And from there, you take an old Russian warplane down to the Antarctic continent, an illusion for any aviation enthusiasts. And here it is behind me there. It lands on a blue ice runway, and the engines never stop when it actually lands because it won't be able to start again thanks to the temperatures down there. And here's me just after landing. It's pretty windy, as you can probably tell from that noise. And from there, you transfer to base camp, where the rest of those people, or the lion's share of them, are tourists, scientists, climbers. And it's a very impressive setup when you get there, all set up by a business called ALE Logistics. And I even get the chance to cycle around the camp. Perfect. Now, from there, when weather permits, which was another 4-day delay for me, you take one of these small propeller planes just there on the right for another 4 hours deeper into the Antarctic continent, because base camp is actually quite coastal when it comes to Antarctica and the sheer scale of it, as I'm sure you all know. Now, that's the polk right there, that red thing that each of us had to carry, our group of 5. And that carries everything you need. It carries your tents, your shovel, your fuel, your food. And that flight on those small planes includes a stop in the middle of nowhere to pick up some fuel. And that's the lovely runway. As a pilot myself, that's probably my favorite runway I've ever taken off from. And you get some quite stunning views as you go across the continent. Then, alas, you are dropped at 89 degrees. And this is what it was like when I got dropped. So, well, what's in Antarctica like? We're in summer, and it was about -35 at that point, or -30 Fahrenheit. There is no animal life, there's no plant life, and it gusts up to about 100 kilometers an hour, creating whiteouts. It's also technically a desert, as there's no precipitation. Now, you probably notice it's very different to base camp. It's incredibly flat and barren as far as the eye can see. So hopefully that video gave you a small insight into. Now, we then had a 120-kilometer journey ahead of us across 8 days, trekking 10 to 12 hours a day, where you carry everything that you need in that polk, much like I'm doing here. Now, what you can also see from this photo, as well as just being a cool photo, is tiny ridges, which are called sastrugi. Now, they basically mean that you're constantly going up and down, even though it actually looks flat. It's incredibly ridge-like. And the skins on your skis help, clearly, but because the snow is so cold, you don't really slide. You pull yourself up the sastrugi, and then you have to pull yourself down, and then you have to pull your polk up and your polk down. So it's quite a lot more tiring than just cross-country skiing. And I'd sort of describe it like skiing on sand. Now, for water, you dig a hole in your tent and you make ice water, as we did there, but not so perfectly picturesque as the last. Now, you use that same melted ice water for your freeze-dried meals as well, for your food every day. By the time you hit hour 8, typically on each day, your water bottle that you boiled the morning of starts to get ice inside it. And so those last 2 hours, to me, or 2 to 4 hours, they were usually the worst, because you'd be stopping, freezing cold, tired, and you'd be drinking water and ice would be going in. And it was -40. Now, I also usually brief people how enjoyable going to the toilet is in a bin bag outside your tent in high winds at -40. But I'll leave the detail of that one out today, and instead show you a picture of our camp or our tents from Koban's drone. Now, when it comes to sleeping in those tents, well, the sun beams through the tent, making it pretty hot inside. The lack of ozone layer means you permanently need factor 50 on. However, let a limb touch the side of your tent and that pretty quickly becomes ice cold. And then if you sweat whilst you're walking, you'll get hypothermia. Now, back to that first group I mentioned, one of that group got too hot, caught hypothermia, and had to be evacuated. Now, when you land at 89 degrees, it's also 3,500 meters above sea level instantly. And that's after being in that tiny plane for 4 hours and being at effectively sea level at base camp. Altitude sickness ended the second participant from that first group, and the other two decided it was too risky to carry on their own and got evacuated back to base camp. Now, our group largely survived. I ended up actually carrying most of Koban's fuel and food, as he wasn't quite as fit as his achievements would suggest. Now, on the final day, one of our group unfortunately got bad frostbite on her face as her mask dropped, and she became a bit delirious and started vomiting. Now, that's still me, but clearly just gives you a bit of an insight, I think, as to how truly cold it is. And if that mask that I've got attached to my ski goggles there drops, it's really quite aggressive, temperate climate to be in, have exposed skin. And the Americans at the South Pole, well, they kindly came out on a skidoo and rescued her. Oh, and I also spent Christmas Day in that tent. It's the only time of the year I could get enough holiday from work to actually do this trek. And I was very happy, as you can see from my face there, and also managed a memorable 30-second satellite call to my fiance for the first time in 10 days, because there's no signal or anything from Antarctica to say that, one, we were behind plan, and two, I might not be able to meet her in Chile for New Year's Eve, which, well, that's another story entirely. So what was really cool, because that all sounds a bit bad, well, I made it. That was the main thing, I think. I constantly told myself I'll never go backwards, just keep moving forwards no matter what happens. Now, the isolation, I think the thinking time, it's incredibly peaceful on Antarctica, and the continent itself is nature at its finest. It's at its most harsh, and it's like nowhere else on Earth, literally. As you'd expect, the Americans have built a James Bond style base at the South Pole. You can see it here. And you start to see that from about 5 clicks out, which is a really beautiful moment. This is me inside their base. They generously gave us a 10-minute tour and then told us to get outside and sleep in tents. And what they're doing there is they're looking for neutrinos, and they have detectors planted 2.5 kilometers beneath the surface, which is key to understanding the origins of the universe. The base residents also create a new totem for the South Pole every year. This is one of my favorites in their rack. And the geographic South Pole itself moves about 15 feet every year due to movement of the ice sheets. And when you're at the pole, all directions point north. Now, there's about 150 people at that base when winter hits, and they stay there for the whole 6-month period. People have died in that shift or on that shift in the past because there's literally no getting out. When winter comes, it's -80 C, minus 120 Fahrenheit, 100 miles per hour winds. It's a pretty aggressive place to be, and you are very far away from any coastal region. There's one sunrise and one sunset per year at the September and March equinox. I also met some cool people at base camp. Andy Murray's brother-in-law had made it to the South Pole as well as Robert Swan, the British explorer. Now, that said, we were all very happy to be headed home, as a couple of these relief faces show. And we also managed to get a very cool stamp in our passports. So what was it all for? Well, I raised £17,000, probably 16,000 euros nowadays, thanks to the generous donations of my friends, family, and employer. Last year, I visited Michele with my wife, Lauren, and saw the new computer center that our fundraising had paid for. Lauren and I loved our visit. She's a dentist, and for the first time ever, she was actually popular with her patients. I do love that photo. And finally, I was very proud to accept a trustee role last year from Max and Catherine. Now, thank you kindly for listening. I hope that was an interesting 10 minutes or so, and I'll hand back control to you, Max.
That's absolutely super, George. Thank you so much. A really fascinating talk, and I could feel the cold as I was seeing those pictures. It was amazing. So, so thank you on behalf of the Nicholas Robinson School for thinking of us and for doing that and for raising the funds for 180 computers. And I don't know if Lauren's listening in, but Lauren, thank you also for your support and for visiting the school. So now, Catherine, over to you again.
Okay, thanks, Max. And thank you from my side as well, George. I really enjoyed that. First of all, a reminder that our online auction will close in about 20 minutes. So get your bids into Francesco. And then also, we are now going to come to the raffle prize, the moment that you've been waiting for. A limited edition of 400 raffle tickets were sold for 5 high-quality prizes. And Max is going to hand control over to Cecilia, who set up the electronic draw, and she will announce the prize winners. Okay, thank you very much.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Wonderful, thank you. So I want to welcome everyone for the raffle draw today. We are going to try using an electronic version. So just give me 1 second and I'll open my screen.
And Cecilia, while you do that, let me just give an update on the bids for our fantastic 3 prizes. The luxurious tea is now up to 422 Swiss francs. The fabulous teddy bear is now up to 170 Swiss francs. And the Star Prize Panorama Weekend is now up to 300 Swiss francs. So in case you want to get your prize, consider a slightly higher donation. Thank you. Up to you.
Thank you, Francesco. Okay, so firstly, I want to, can you see my screen okay with the spreadsheet?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. So on the right-hand side, you see the different prices that we have on offer today. We have sold 400 tickets this season. So out of the 400 tickets, we have 3,000 Swiss francs worth of prizes. That is being donated by private sponsors as well as Trenzeo and also Chris from CN Goodall investment company. So we have 5 lovely prizes today, and we're going to use an electronic draw. As you know, we are all running through electronic today. We are able to create a little algorithm that allows us to have the miscellaneous draw through. Column A is the ticket number. Column B is a system generated algorithm to pick a number. And then we will have a formula that will automatically, every time I hit return button, it will create a new algorithm to pick a new number. So this is equivalent to if I have a piece of paper and, you know, pick up the 400 numbers. So I'm going to start from the 5th prize. The 5th prize is a laser tag camera that it's for a game for laser tags. So the 5th prize over here, and I'm going to put the algorithms being turned on. So give me 1 second and we'll know what the winning ticket number will be. Just 1 second. All right, the first winning number for the 5th prize is 180, so 180. We will notify the winners directly by email, so you don't need to know what your number is. If you don't have your tickets in front of you, we will notify you individually. The next prize we'll be looking at is the Sony eBucks, which is a wireless eBucks. That's worth 360 francs worth. And I'm gonna let the system pick a new number for me. The new number is 62. 62 is the 4th prize winner. Now we're looking at prize number 3. Third prize is a Sonos Beam for your home cinema. It's worth 440 francs, sponsored by CN Goodall. Okay, so let's see what the system will pick for us as a winning ticket. 91. 91 is the winner of the 3rd prize. The second prize is donated by a private sponsor and is a NAS storage system. So for those of you who has computer system at home and want to do a backup of all your photos and things like that, this is a good system for you. Let's have a look at what we're gonna have as a winning ticket. The winning ticket is 294. 294 is the second prize. So last and not least, the system will pick the first prize winner, donated by Transeo, and the value of the laptop, which is an HP gaming laptop for 1,100 Swiss francs. And the winning ticket is 385. 385. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand this back over to Max. Congratulations, everyone. So 1 second, let me pull up Max's number.
And Cecilia, while we wait for the transition, let me give you an update. You guys have been really, really generous. There's a very nice fight on the chart. So now we have the luxurious tea at 425 Swiss francs. The teddy bear is lagging a little behind at 170. And the panorama weekend is at 425. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to turn off my video camera.
Okay, Catherine, it's all yours.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Cecilia, for running the draw and finding that program. So the COVID has taught us many new skills. So now we're going to go to another video. We're going to hear from some of our Ethiopian friends. We've got 3 short videos which will run one after each other without interruption from me or anyone else. The first video has been put together by the 3 Nicholas students who are currently studying overseas, and they have all won 4 scholarships. You have heard from Feven before when she was studying at United World College in Thailand. Now she's at university in the US, and we will hear from her. Samia is at United World College in Hong Kong, and Hiwan is at the African Leadership Academy in Johannesburg. For our students to be able to gain scholarships for universities outside of Ethiopia, they need to get internationally recognized qualifications at these institutions, such as United World College and African Leadership Academy. These institutions attract foundations which offer full grants for university studies to some of their students. We're very proud that all 3 of our girls are totally committed to returning to Ethiopia, to give back when they have completed their studies. We also have another student, Salam, who is waiting to join African Leadership Academy now. She is having to study remotely as the travel restrictions are still imposed in South Africa for international travel. But hopefully she can join in January in the real campus. And we hope she will also be able to present to us another year. And we continue to look for opportunities for all of our talented students at the school. And each year we are selecting and trying to find more of these chances. After this short video, we will then hear from Tesfageber, our headmaster of the Nicholas School. Tesfageber will speak a few words, and then after that, our local partners, the Tigray Disabled Veterans Association, will have a short presentation. It is their members who go to the Nicholas Robinson School and are supported by our generous student sponsors. And you will see two of the board of the TDVA, as we call them, and one of their sons as well is joining the video just to say hello. So I think, Max, you can run the video.
Hello there, my name is Favan. I'm 20 years old and I attended Nicholas Robinson Schools in 2009 and then graduated in 2017. Rainbow for Children has shattered many barriers to education that a lot of us in my community face, and also created a space for us, that facilitates learning process regardless of our background or our abilities. And it also provided us with a wide connections and network that opened up many opportunities. I applied for United World College in Thailand, and I was able to study IB and on full scholarship, which later on opened up more doors for me. And now I'm a second-year student in McAllister College in St. Paul, Minnesota. Yeah, and I intend to major in biology and hopefully create a network that would be beneficial when working alongside many researchers in Mekelle or anywhere in Ethiopia. Yeah, and I want to thank to all supporters who are making difference in our lives and continue to do so even during these uncertain times. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Samia and I'm 18. I'm currently studying at Lipuchan United World College of Hong Kong. I'm always grateful for the great education I received at the Nicholas Robinson School and for Rainbows for Children for helping me get a grant at United World College. And after I did my final interview, I was told that I got accepted to UWC, and I was immediately on top of the moon. I was so delighted. Currently, I'm studying the International Baccalaureate curriculum, or the IB curriculum, and my main subject of interest is biology, which I'm interested to major it in university. And because my ambition is to study health-related things and help those in my country who cannot get good health care because they don't have a good quality healthcare facilities. So when I think about these people, it always inspires me and makes me to work hard and move forward. And finally, I want to thank all of you Rainbow for Children supporters, especially Doe and all of you who took part in this sponsored work. Students like me have the opportunity to give back to their communities and make a difference in the world. Thank you so much. Bye.
Salam! This is Hewan Kasai. I'm a graduate student of Nicholas Robinson School, class of 2019. Now, I'm currently studying in African Leadership Academy, Johannesburg, South Africa. And this academy mainly focuses in developing the next generation of African leaders. Speaking of my passion and future plan, I'm very interested in political science, economics, and international relations. And I'm planning to work in international organization to impact my community in a large scale. When I think of giving back to my community, country, and continent, I remember the word Ubuntu, which I learned from my colleague years ago. It means I am because we are. I'm here because Ethiopia was there. I'm here because Nicholas Robinson School and Rainbows for Children was there. I'm here because my parents, my teachers, my peers, and my society was there. And because I'm here, I feel the moral necessity to make a difference by being there to others as well. I'm aware that I have a long way to go to achieve my goals. But you know what they say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And I would like to extend my gratitude for Rainbow's children from different countries for taking the first step with me and impacting my life one way or another.
Good evening, everyone. I do hope you all are keeping safe and well. I'm very happy to have this chance to say a few words to you this evening. Firstly, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your different contributions to the Nicholas Robinson School through your support of Rainbows for Children. This year, your help is more important than ever. Like your country, Ethiopia has experienced severe disruptions because of COVID-19 pandemic. The school has been closed since March, and all our students had worksheets and handouts delivered to their homes by their parents. And the classwork and home take exam were returned to the school by their parents too. It was a lot of work for our teachers, and we used a lot of paper and printering. In the community, COVID was slow to arrive, but now we have quite a few cases in Magala, and sadly few cases. We have been doing as much as we can for our local community. Our science staff have made bleach and hand sanitizers in our labs and distributed to our parents, staff, and to local medical clinics. Now we are registering students to come back to school. We're not yet certain what format the teaching will be exactly. I'll keep Catherine and Max informed, and I know they will let all of you know too. The decision about the teaching program is made by the Bureau of Education. At this moment, it seems possible that we will have classes of half size and students will come to the school on the alternate days. This will mean that teachers will have to work hard more than ever. They will have to repeat each lesson and will have to work for 6 days a week and longer hours. However, they are very dedicated and very happy that Rainbows for Children have continued to support the school. And they are feeling secured because they have employment. There is a lot of economic hardship, just like you're experiencing. And so we have more children who will need support to stay at school this year. Everything you can do to help is really appreciated. Our community is missing the regular visit from Catherine and Max and all Rainbow's friends who come and help us. We do hope we will see you all at the Nicholas School again real soon. Until then, we wish you and your family good health and stay safe from the virus. Thank you very much on behalf of our staff and all our students. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charkos and I'm General Manager of the Tigray Disabled Veteran Association here in Tigray.
We both hope you are keeping safe and well in these difficult times. My name is Borhu and I am Finance Director of TDB.
We want to tell you a little bit about our organization. Rainbows for the Children have been helping us since their first visit to Mekelle since 2003. At that time, they saw how much our members and their families needed help on education. Then they agreed to build a school for all children.
The members of our organization all have disabilities caused by armed conflict inside in Ethiopia. This finished in 1991. Now we are at peace. Some of our members have injuries from landmine or other later conflicts. We started our work in 1995 as an organization. We started some small business to employ our members and give them chance to work.
but many people cannot work. As a result, they are very poor. They don't have their own income, and they cannot send their children to school, even to the governmental or public school. Rainbows for the Children saw this and helped us by starting to build the Nicholas Robinson School for our members' children.
To help pay running costs, some parents can pay fees. Others get sponsorship for their children so that they can go to Nicholas Robinson School, which is the best school in the region. It gives them the best possible chance to help their families in the future.
We would like to thank all of you for your contribution to our project. Sponsoring our children and other regular donation is especially important to help keep the school running. Thank you all and have a lovely evening.
Okay, I think Francesco, it's over to you.
Thank you, Max. It was really nice to hear from our friends, from the students, from the parents, from Ethiopia. As you can see, this is the reality of what Katrin and Max have created, right? It's always fascinating to see the story of those students that actually made it, right? And they're now having a very nice either education outside of Ethiopia or even starting a very good career. Okay, now it's the time for all of you to know who are the winners of the 3 prizes. Okay, and soon after this, we will have a short moment for Pirmin Rohrer, the country leader of DAO Europe in Horgen and in Switzerland, of course. Before giving the word to Pirmin, let me give you 15 more seconds for the prizes. I'm gonna tell you what the last beats are, and then you can write as fast as you can on the chat for 15 seconds. Otherwise, I will give the prizes to the people that donated so far. For the teddy bear, 170 Swiss francs. For the luxury tea, 500 Swiss francs. For the panorama weekend, 601 Swiss francs. 15 seconds from now, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop! No more beats anymore. That was really nice. Let me just make sure I make my mind. And excellent. Okay, so here it is, the moment of the truth. The teddy bear has been won by Soel for 170 Swiss francs. Thank you very much for this donation. The luxury tea, the winner is Anita Risi with 550 Swiss francs. Thanks, Anita. And for the Panorama Wellness Weekend, Chadwick for 601 Swiss francs. Thank you very much, guys. It was really nice to see all of you interacting with me while I was giving you the updated information. Thanks for the people that sponsored those prizes, and thanks for you to donate the prizes that you have donated. Now with this, I give the word to Pirmin. Pirmin, over to you.
Thanks, Francesco. I think you would be a very good auction leader.
No, I like to win as well, so I couldn't beat, you know, so that's
okay, good. Very well done. Congratulations to the winner. Hey, everyone. I'm very pleased to be part of this call. Actually, I have to say it's the best teleconference I had over the last 6 months. And as you can imagine, I had many of them. Very inspiring. Very happy to be here. So welcome in the name of Dow in Horgen. When I looked at the videos, what I saw and what you put together in that current situation, it's just amazing, right? I think you never give up. It was very inspiring. Things just keep going on. I mean, I remember we had meetings earlier this year when there was the plan to have that event, and you know, for the known reasons, right, we had, or you guys had to cancel this. So, but you know, I think the last 50 minutes was very inspiring, very motivating, I can say, very good. And I think, yeah, I'm more than happy to actually hand over you that check. I'm not sure if you can actually see that. So it's 5,000 Swiss francs from Dow in Europe. And I'm super happy to do that. I know the money is well received and it's very well spent. And yeah, I cannot hand it over physically, but you have all seen it, so it's there. We will work out the rest. And yeah, congratulations to that wonderful event. Congratulations for all the hard work you do. As I said, Dow is very proud to be a partner there. Keep up. It's inspiring and it's motivating. And when you see all those happy faces in Africa, it's just, yeah, the way it should be. Thanks for all of that.
Thank you very
Back
much,
to you.
Firmin.
Yeah, no, again, on behalf of Rainbows for Children, all the staff, the kids at the school, and Tigray disabled veterans, so thanks very much indeed for that, Firmin, and please pass on our appreciation to everybody in Horgen who's behind that. Thank you.
Will do. And one thing very important I missed to say, I hope to see you all next year back in Horgen.
Excellent.
That's true, definitely.
Okay, so Max and Catherine, in the meantime, I've been collecting a few questions that some of the participants have sent to me over the chat. So if it is okay for you, I would like to start a Q&A session now. And then first, I would like to give the word to the people that are online with us. Is there anyone that has any curiosity or any questions they would like to ask to Max and Catherine? They will try to do their best to answer. So I leave a couple of seconds for the shy people to figure out how to unmute themselves and ask the question. Otherwise, we do have a couple of questions that I received, so I can also go on with those ones. Any volunteer, like at school? Any volunteer that wishes to ask a question? Okay, so let me go on. Let me break the ice with the first question. We've seen beautiful videos, right? We've seen people, happy students, happy parents. We've heard from George, the magnificent story. Everything is joyful, and we have the energy, we see the energy, we feel the energy from you guys and from the people that have actually sent their videos. One curiosity, has there ever been a moment, a discouraging moment, when you both said, oh, this is maybe too big of a project, what have we done? We are not gonna make it. Has ever been such a moment? Has there ever been such a moment?
If I can kind of chip in on that one first. There's kind of been just a couple of moments. One of them was really right at the beginning when we decided to do our first ever fundraiser at Dow. And it was just like it was taking forever to get anybody interested. I remember kind of almost going office to office to beg people to show up. And people were like, what's all this about? You know, and the first year we decided we were going to actually do water carrying as part of the thing, you know, because to symbolize, which you still see today, you know, literally thousands of people, typically, or hundreds of thousands of people, typically young girls, you know, walking for kilometers through, you know, through long journeys with 20, 30 kilos of water on their backs almost breaking. So we organized this big water pot and a few people tried to carry it, even empty, it's heavy. So I was really worried that this thing wasn't going to take off, but it did. And even at that very first event, I think we managed to raise like 25,000 francs. So that first year was just really a heart-stopping moment for us until we saw that something would happen, and it took off. And then I think there was some event later on. There was like a major cement shortage throughout Ethiopia, and certainly Mekelle, where they've actually got a cement factory. I think the thing had broken down, and you know, we've got this project to build this stuff, and in the end, I think the Tigray disabled veterans, they went and lent a little bit on the manager of the cement factory and said, guys, give us priority. And because they're so respected in the community in Mekelle, they actually did give them priority, so the building work continued. I think, I don't know, Catherine, is there anything I've forgotten?
Well, I never felt the project was too big, but I think some of the frustrations that we did have off and on has been the bureaucracy locally. I think that's probably every country in the world has frustrations with bureaucracy. So that I think it's just even harder when it's in a country that you're not so familiar with and you can't quite understand the language. So you sometimes wonder what the motivation is behind, or why anybody would possibly want to stop us doing what we're doing, or slow us down, or be a bit difficult. And we just, count to 10 and usually find a way around to overcome the problem or approach the issue a different way. And if we feel a bit disheartened, our cure is we get out of our office and we walk through the school playground. And by the time we've walked from the high school where our office is to the kindergarten, we'll say, we can never give this project up. Look at all these wonderful kids and how happy they are. And those of you who've been there will know you can't walk more than 5 steps in the school without somebody running up and wanting to kiss you or hug you or take your hand, which is probably my main dread when we have to go back after COVID or want to go back. How can we stop hugging them all, you know? But yeah, so I think any obstacles we have, the kids cure us instantly, I would say. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Very inspiring answers, actually. Any questions from the audience? Anybody that found the unmute button in the meantime? Anybody wants to go first? Yes, please.
Francesco, this is Nicoletta. Hello, everybody. Great to be here tonight. I have a kind of a maths question for Max and Catherine. I would like to know how many tons of materials they have carried across to Ethiopia on their flights, or have got other people to carry across. Have you ever calculated that? It would be really interesting.
I would guess, since I'm the one who does most of the packing, we've got to be up to about 5 tons between us and our perhaps sometimes reluctant volunteers who find this as soon as they offer to volunteer, they find Catherine rubbing her hands and says, oh, could you take a couple of spare suitcases with you as well? So, be warned, if you volunteer at the school, you have to take a suitcase at least, and maybe 2. So probably, I guess about 5 tons, because we take 130 kilos every time we go, and that's 3 times a year. And then we have about 20 visitors a year. So most of them bring another 20 kilos each. And this has been going on now since, well, for probably 15 years, yeah.
And I guess all tax-free except for some issues at the border occasionally.
Yeah, Max is the expert in negotiating his way through customs and shaming them into letting him carry anything that's an odd shape through. The only time anybody ever got caught by customs was one of our volunteers who was traveling actually from France, and he was carrying a Singer sewing machine with him. A hand treadle, yes, a hand, you know, not an electric one, but a hand-powered one. And this seemed to pick up in the X-ray machine and aroused suspicion. And then they found it was padded with a lot of T-shirts, which they found was more interesting. And since he was rather a large size and the T-shirts were very small, I think it gave the game away. So, but yes, that's the only time anybody's ever been stopped and had to pay duty. Although Max has negotiated well.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicoletta, for the question. Thanks for the answer, Catherine. Anybody else?
Yeah. Yes, what are the main shortages do you have, resources for the school? What do you find the most difficult to get hold of?
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth, for that one. I think it's things like that you can't get in Ethiopia, like Lego and things like that. The computer equipment is the same price there as it is here. So if we can take refurbished laptops like the ones and computers like the ones that George Potts raised money for us to purchase, and we bought those from Computer Aid International in the UK. And then some of our volunteers carried them over. I think you might have been one of them, Elizabeth. So, but anyway, yeah, so electrical things, and learning toys, I would say, for kindergarten. There's no experience of learning toys at all in Ethiopia. I mean, books now, we've got a lot, I would say, but learning toys, things that teach them manual skills, that sort of thing, anything like that. Anything to help them learn English better, you know, word spelling games, you know, for anything from kindergarten, but certainly the younger years, kindergarten, if they can start playing with numbers and letters, so much better. I just think, yeah, I think those are probably the main sorts of things. Science equipment is very difficult, but we can't take chemicals on planes, so it can only be stuff that we can carry across and is not too awkward for customs.
Can I add something to the list, Catherine? What about volunteers?
Oh yes, well, volunteers, we're always glad to have volunteers. About 20 a year usually join in normal times, and practical science, English, kindergarten, music, sport, art, those are subjects that are really appreciated.
Very good. So if someone knows someone else that is an expert in one of those fields, which is pretty broad list, just connect with Max and Catherine. By the way, how is the violin doing?
The music teacher was getting pretty good last time I walked past.
Excellent, cool.
Yes, well,
nice.
He plays on an Ethiopian instrument called mazinko, which has just got one string. So he can play that, so, and make music with it. Can you believe music? And so the violin is in his good hands, and we did have a volunteer who got him started, and then after that, he was teaching himself.
Excellent. So we'll have to organize my travel to pick it up with the kids.
Yeah, please.
Excellent. Any other question? Well, I don't see any question on chat anymore. I do have a curiosity, and I also have a good news, or what I say, a great news to tell everybody, not even Katrin and Max know, I guess. So the first curiosity is, you guys have a wonderful picture of the school itself, right? It's behind yourself. So you are virtually there. Then you travel quite a few times a year for obvious reasons, right? To Ethiopia, to the school itself, except for this year. So the question is very short, just give me a short answer. What do you consider home?
Max first.
Oh, it's difficult. I mean, home is where we are now, right? We're in Switzerland, but well, we miss the school enormously. You know, we miss the warmth of the people. You know, not only in normal times are they a lot warmer and more open and welcoming and just friendly and joyful than we tend to be either in Europe or US or whatever. I mean, they're like that in normal times. But now when everybody here is nervous, they're kind of staying at home, and you know, you're out in the street and you know, in Switzerland, you know, you greet people, and normally, you know, you walk past people and you say grazie miteinander, and now it's grazie. You know, nobody really likes to open their mouth. So just the whole combination of the COVID virus situation and being away from Ethiopia is just gives us a kind of sense of homesickness in a way. It's the other homesickness.
Sweet. Katrin, I think you can echo.
Yes, well, exactly as Max said. I think I think, you know, home is where the heart is, so it's wherever Max is really, isn't it? But
oh, that's a nice conclusion.
yes.
Yeah, you said that just in time. Thank goodness for that.
No, but seriously, well, no, that is serious. But I think the weird thing is that my peace of mind, shall we say, or I feel something psychologically. I feel something special when I'm there. And I can't capture it anywhere else in the world. And so I think I feel very strongly a close affinity to the people. And I don't know what it is. It's very subconscious, but my mental peace of mind, I think I'm happier there than anywhere, I would say. Yes. But I think it's a combination of many things, I think, and it's probably in having invested so much of myself in it as well. It's sort of, it's been very difficult this year not to be able to go, let's put it that way. It's been quite tough, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so let me give one of you guys on the phone a great news. Just one of you, sorry for the others. But we figured out that we do have something on our pocket. We do have a second voucher for the luxury tea sponsored by Barolak in Zurich. We do have it. And that goes to second place. And second place, for a price of 475 Swiss francs, goes to Angela. So congratulations to Angela. So both Angela and Anita, they got both vouchers, one each. So enjoy.
Super.
Thank you. And with these, Max and Katrin, back over to you.
Okay. So Catherine, is okay if I conclude?
I think so, yes. It's not taken an hour and a half, but everyone can go home and have an early tea.
Right, yeah. Well, again, thanks to everyone so much for joining this evening, and especially Catherine, I want to thank you for your most important contribution of allowing 1,400 girls and boys access to the highest possible standard of education. And we appreciate not only your financial support, which of course is essential, but for your emotional support and understanding as we support the school now remotely. We're delighted to announce that through your hard work and efforts over the last weeks and tonight, we've raised at least 40,000 Swiss francs, which is about, well, it's now more than $40,000. It's probably about $44,000 to help the Nicholas Robinson School, which is absolutely amazing when you consider that we've not been able to get into this, you know, beautiful big room, you know, walk around the countryside in Horgen as we normally do. So, and that's way more than we ever raised that first year, you know, when we were kind of live in the place. So again, huge thanks. And so what we'll do now is we'll just end the meeting with some music and a little reprise of our fundraisers. So the video of this evening's event will be put on our website and links will be shared on social media. So please do share it with the rest of your friends. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe and well, and we really hope to see you face to face in Horgen in May 2021. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye everybody.